10th, 2017 to order. If you'd please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And please let the record note that all council members are present this evening. We have minutes from the meeting of April 3rd. They'll stand approved unless there are any changes. Ms. Cares?
I had a name spelling correction that I sent to the clerk's office, so nothing substantial.
Thank you. With that, we will move on to our schedule of committee meetings. Ms. Hands?
All right. All of our committee meetings will be held in council chambers here on Wednesday, April 12th. We will start the day with Parks and Conservation from 9:50 a.m. to 10:50 a.m., then Administration and Finance from 10:55 a.m. to 11:25 a.m., Public Works from 11:30 a.m. to 12 o'clock p.m., Land Use and Planning from 1 o'clock p.m. to 1:55 p.m., Committee of the Whole from 2 o'clock p.m. to 3:10 p.m., and Budget Committee of the Whole from 3:15 p.m. to 4:30 p.m.
Thank you, Ms. Hands. Any changes to the committee schedule? Seeing none of those, we'll move on to the public comment portion of our agenda. This is your opportunity to comment on items not elsewhere on the agenda this evening. Any general public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Those items were approved unanimously in council committees, and we save a little time on Monday evenings by considering these items all at once. Ms. Hands will read the list of consent agenda items aloud so those in the audience and those watching at home can know what we're considering. We'll take comment on these items before we vote. Ms. Hands.
There are 3 items on the consent agenda this evening. The first item is to approve claims, accounts payable in the amount of $466,574.46 for checks dated April 11th, 2017. Second item is to approve claims, accounts payable related to the water acquisition in the amount of $27,718.23 for checks dated April 11th, 2017. And the last item on the consent agenda is to authorize the mayor to sign Professional Services Agreement Amendment Number 1, Project 14-020 with WGM Group, providing additional engineering services for water main relocation and extension in conjunction with the Montana Department of Transportation Russell Street Reconstruction Project in an amount not to exceed $67,641.
Thank you, Ms. Hands. Anyone in the audience care to comment on any of the items on the consent agenda this evening? All right, seeing none. Questions or comments from council members? Seeing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
On the consent agenda, Swaney? Yes. Swaney votes yes. Von Lossberg? Yes. Von Lossberg votes yes. West? Yes. West votes yes. Wilkins?
Yes.
Wilkins votes yes. Armstrong?
Yes.
Armstrong votes yes. Bentley?
Yes.
Bentley votes yes. Cares?
Yes.
Cares votes yes. DeBari?
Yes.
DeBari votes yes. Hedall?
Yes.
Hedall votes yes. Hess?
Yes.
Hess votes yes. Jones?
Yes.
Jones votes yes. And Marlar?
Yes.
Marlar votes yes. That is 12 ayes.
And the consent agenda is approved. I'm unaware of any comments from city staff, agencies, boards, commissions, authorities, or the community forum this evening. We do have one proclamation as a function of our special presentations, and that is this. Whereas the safety and well-being of its citizens continues to be one of the foremost concerns of the city of Missoula, and whereas 911 is the first critical link in the chain in delivering public safety services to the community, and the skill of those delivering these services is critical in answering those calls for help and immediately sending responders to provide assistance. And whereas not only is the safety and well-being of Missoula citizens critical, but also the safety of those responding to emergencies is of great concern. And whereas the telecommunicators who work in 911 display a superior level of commitment, dedication, and professionalism in accomplishing their mission by receiving calls, dispatching emergency response agencies, and maintaining a communication link with the responders. And whereas those same telecommunicators working long hours under very difficult circumstances often go unrecognized. Now, therefore, I, John Engen, Mayor of the City of Missoula and the State of Montana, do hereby recognize the week of April 9 through 15, 2017, as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And I'd like to recognize and thank the telecommunicators at 911 for all of their efforts and hours of hard work. And they do indeed work long, hard hours taking care of the citizens, and I am grateful for that. We will move on then, folks, to our lone public hearing this evening. State law and our own rules set guidelines for providing comment in a formal way on a variety of issues, and following a staff report on each of these, council and I will invite comment. Council typically votes on the same evening as the public hearing unless one council member elects to return that item to committee for further consideration. And our public hearing this evening is on a conditional use request for an accessory dwelling unit at 310 Daly Avenue. And Ms. Baker has our staff report this evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jenny Baker. I'm with Development Services, and tonight we will talk about a conditional use request from Megan Moore to convert an existing accessory structure on her property into an accessory dwelling unit. It is located at 310 Daly Avenue. Here's the location of the property. It is with the blue star. It's in the University District. It's 2 blocks east of Higgins and 2 blocks west of Arthur. This area is part of Missoula Ward 3. According to the Our Missoula Growth Policy, the recommended land use designation in this area is residential medium density with 3 to 11 dwelling units per acre. The subject property and all of the surrounding area is zoned R5.4 residential. Taking a look at the site plan, here at the back is the existing house. It's outlined in blue. This structure, outlined in red, is the accessory structure, proposed to be the ADU. Normally, an accessory structure is not permitted to be closer to the street than the primary structure, but in this case, both the house and the accessory structure were built before this zoning regulation was enacted. Title 20 requires 3 off-street parking spaces for properties with ADUs. And to be clear, this meets that standard. I think after the land use presentation last week, maybe there was a misconception that only 2 spaces were provided. This provides 3. One of them is here at the back, coming in from the alley. And as regulations say, the ADU spot must be accessed from the alley. And then up here is a driveway that will come in from Daly Avenue. This is the 2 other off-street parking spaces. These will be new. The length of the driveway is 38.5 feet. And that enables one of the 2 spaces to be outside the required 20-foot setback, and the second space is behind it. This tandem parking arrangement, provided that one of the 2 spaces is outside the front setback, as will be the case here, is permitted by Title 20. This is the floor plan for the ADU. It will be 420 square feet. This is within the 350 to 600 square foot range specified for ADUs in Title 20. Now we'll take a look at some building elevations. This is the west elevation of the accessory structure. It is looking into the yard. Here you can see the south elevation. This is facing Daly Avenue, and this is where the driveway will come in the foreground. This will change from a window and will be replaced with an entrance, and there will be a 12-foot by 7-foot porch along the front here. This is the back, which faces the alley. It's the north elevation, and from this end is the parking space will be sort of facing this doorway that you see here. This slide shows the primary dwelling unit. It faces south towards Daly, and on the right you can see the front of the ADU structure. The review criteria. When we look at these, compliance with zoning standards, this project meets all applicable zoning regulations. In terms of compatibility with neighborhood character, it's an existing building which is compatible in scale and design with the other structures surrounding it and in keeping with the residential character of the neighborhood. For operating characteristics, the proposed use is residential, the same as all the uses surrounding it. For traffic safety, any nominal additional traffic generated by this project won't pose any inconvenience or detriment to existing traffic patterns or traffic safety in this area. As a result, staff recommends approval of this accessory dwelling unit conditional use request at 310 Daly Avenue based on the findings of fact and subject to the conditions of approval outlined in the staff report. Thank you, and if you have questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. And with that, I will open the public hearing. Would anyone care to comment on this proposed use? Okay. Ms. Moore, did you have anything you'd want to? No? Okay. All right. With that, then, I will close the public hearing. Are there questions from council members? Mr. Hess?
Thanks. This is a neighborhood that doesn't really have driveways for the most part. There's a few, but did staff have any comments with regard to breaking up what is a relatively contiguous, cohesive pedestrian environment, I guess, with a driveway?
We didn't receive any public comment, and it was reviewed by engineering, who approved this configuration.
Okay. Further questions? Seeing none. Mr. DeBari?
So I move approval of the conditional use request for a detached accessory dwelling unit at 310 Daly Avenue in the R5.4 residential zoning district in accordance with Missoula City Zoning Ordinance, Title 20, Sections 20.05.020, 20.45.060, and 2085.070, based on the findings of fact in the staff report and subject to the conditions of approval.
And that motion is is in order. Is there discussion on the motion? Mr. Wilkins?
So I won't be supporting the motion. Single-family neighborhoods are 5.4, and that should be a single house on that. And by allowing accessory dwelling units, it's making for one more house on that. And I just don't see how that keeps it a single-family neighborhood. The biggest problem I have is that this is a conditional use, and we have no other conditional use that puts another dwelling on a piece of parcel anywhere. So generally, conditional uses have to do with churches, daycares, maybe halfway houses, things like that. So I won't be supporting it.
Mr. Von Lossberg?
Thanks. I'm happy to support this application. I just wanted to note for the record that the applicant mentions in their description, I'd like to construct this ADU for the purpose of housing guests, as I have no space to accommodate them in my own residence, and eventually to house my aging mother. And it's that second part that I think brings up an issue that the whole ADU opportunity is. It's a tool we have in these kind of cases, and I'm happy to support situations like this, particularly for a purpose like that. So happy to support.
Further discussion? Seeing none, we've had a public hearing. We'll have a roll call vote.
On the conditional use, Bentley? Bentley votes yes. Cares? Yes. Cares votes yes. DeBari? Yes. DeBari votes yes. Hedall? Yes. Hedall votes yes. Hess? Yes. Hess votes yes. Jones? Yes. Jones votes yes. Marlar? Yes. Marlar votes yes. Swaney? Yes. Swaney votes yes. Von Lossberg? Yes. Von Lossberg votes yes. West? Yes. West votes yes. Wilkins?
No.
Wilkins votes no. Armstrong? Yes. Armstrong votes yes. That's 11 ayes and 1 nay.
And the conditional use is approved. We have no more public hearings. I'll pass on communications from the mayor. Move on to general comments from council members. We'll begin this evening with Mr. Von Lossberg.
Happy birthday to my 5-year-old daughter as of this weekend. And I just want to say, Mom and Dad, I love you, and thank you for coming to Missoula and spending your time attending a city council meeting.
So I was waiting for public comment from the front row. Welcome. We love your son. I'm reserving my right to comment. So, yeah. Ms. Hedall. Nothing? I'm sorry, Mr. DeBari, Ms. Marlar. Ms. Armstrong, Mr. Wilkins.
Brian and I don't always agree on things, but I do like it.
Ms. Cares, Mr. Hess, Ms. Jones, Ms. West, Ms. Bentley, and Ms. Swaney.
Thank you. I wanted to just mention that this Saturday is the 8th Annual Diversity Day. It'll be at the Missoula Senior Center starting at 6 p.m. And then also I wanted to acknowledge Marita Growing Thunder has been had a project through this school year to raise awareness for murdered and missing Indigenous women, and for the past 3 days she's been walking across the Flathead Reservation, and tomorrow will be the final day of her walk, which will end in Arley. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to committee reports, and we actually have none. Ladies and gentlemen, I've withdrawn the workforce study referral. We'll bring that back to you at some point if we find that it is cooked. We have one item of new business. That's the legislative update. You all are in possession of that. I will tell you that some correspondence from our lobbyist, John McDonald, today, no executive action on fuel tax. Things appear to be winding down ever so slightly, which is good because they're starting to run out of time. So that's the thing. Anyone have anything on their list that I can pass along this evening? All right. Anyone in the audience with anything on the legislature? All right. With that, are there any additional items to be referred this evening? Seeing not a one, any miscellaneous communications, reports, petitions, or announcements? Seeing none of those, as always, thank you for your service. We will be adjourned.